Hi everybody, and welcome back to On the Roof. Today we have one of the most innovative, interesting acts in music today, Gone Beyond. So we have David Block, Cat Factor, Danny Musengo,
Correct.
Mel Seme.
Yes.
Okay. How did you guys find each other? Where did you guys start?
Yeah, it's in many different places around the world. It seems to be that I've kind of been the common thread, producing each one of these guys individually. And Kat and I met in Santa Cruz, Danny and I met in New York City, Mel and I met in Barcelona. And each of the kind of the stories of how we connected was pretty unique. And yeah, Danny and I we thought we had finished our album, the one that just came out called Things Are Changing, about a year ago. We had an album listening party, and it happened to be that Mel and Kat were in town. And at the end of it, we were like, oh, we'll play some of the new music with Kat and Mel. And so we all played a show together, and all these people were like, oh my God, Gone Beyond, the four of you. It's amazing. And we're like, no, that's not the band. Gone Beyond is me and Danny. And basically unanimously, everyone was like, no, it's not.
Overruled.
Yeah, overruled. You don't get to decide this. The music gods have spoken.
Right.
And yeah.
Kat, do you talk about the alchemy that you four have together?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that all four of us come from such radically different backgrounds in music. Mel, was raised in Cuba, studying jazz music, and I also have a jazz background, but I studied music classically, and Danny has had a long history in rock bands and folk bands, and David was kind of my introduction into electronic music. And it's really, I feel like at the core of our alchemy is just this like profound love for each other, and really our missions are very aligned. I think our values are very aligned, and it's kind of one of the things that holds us together and glues us together. And I think that energy that circulates between us is really what is the driving force behind our creativity.
So it goes beyond the actual music.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, I really do feel like we're family. And, when we all get together, it's like, usually when you spend a lot of time together with somebody on the road, you end up getting sick of one another. But I feel like...
The only person who gets sick of is Danny.
It's kind of the opposite situation.
And I was sick of him.
Chime in, Danny.
I was sick of him before we
Right back.
Yeah, it's interesting that the more time we spend together, the more we enjoy each other. And I think that that's different for me. I've been on tours with other bands, and I know Danny and Mel have as well. And it's really amazing to be traveling with a group of people who constantly inspire you and also push your boundaries. And I feel like we're growing together as a unit and as individuals.
Yeah, you guys have a great vibe. It's really, really spectacular. What about like the different types of music that the different worlds of music that you're all from? How's that to blend all of that and come up with like this fusion of what you have, which is future folk? The founders of future folk.
Yeah, 2020.
It's interesting. I think that they complement each other. A lot of, like you said, if the idea is correct and if everybody's on the same page as far as what you're saying, melody kind of transcends genre, and the rhythms is kind of cool to have an electronic producer. Mel's a Cuban percussionist by trade, and so I think the blending of the different cultures and of all of us it feels pretty seamless. Actually, it's never been a fight of anybody wanting to do anything like particular type of music, you know. And that's why when we said future folk and didn't really know the genre, it does kind of. I mean, nobody's really pinpointed. We're kind of a little bit genreless as far as bands go. Just we don't really belong to a scene or anything. We're sort of creating it as we go. But it seems like we've been playing for kids. They love it. My mom loves it. You know, like people our age are down. You know, it's just like a big love basket. It doesn't really matter.
I think it's like part of. It seems that one of the high goals of the artist and of the creative is to create something timeless, something intergenerational. I think the highest compliment I've received of the music that we're creating right now is someone telling me that she listened to the record with her grandmother in hospice with her mother and her daughter. So she had 4 generations listening. And for me, I was like, wow, it was beyond the genre or style or the influence. It was just something that they could all listen to together. But it has been growing and changing as we kind of infuse each one of the timeless elements of each one of our influences, whether that's timeless elements of jazz, timeless elements of rock and roll, of each one of our own things, you know, because every genre has that, right? It has those elements of something that you're going to be able to listen to Allman Brothers tracks, you know, forever.
But that's fusion too, and jazz based too, by the way, right? Mm-hmm. How did jazz bring you, Mel, into like the structure of jazz to be able to just take that and come into this flow?
I think a little bit of what happens in my collaboration with the band is when we met with David, it was also like my introduction somehow to producing electronic music. And we met in Barcelona where I live. So I invited him over to my place where I have a bunch of instruments like piano, vibraphone, a bunch of guitars, percussion. Right. And we were basically jamming, so I was just like throwing ideas out and David would just grab one of those ideas and work on it. So for me that was fascinating because basically I was in my world doing my jams, just like playing around freely, and he would say like, oh, play that again, and we would make something out of that. So it's very interesting just how adding something that is just flowing in the moment becomes maybe a structure for something that becomes a song afterwards.
Right.
So just playfully, but then at the end of the day, just producing on top of that and creating structure out of that.
You know, just seeing you guys do your thing last night was a trip, man. I'm telling you, my mind was going to places, you know. And I was telling our friend John about, I felt like I was in Laurel Canyon in like 1968, like at the beginning of like Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young, like, you know, first, like, you know, like one of those things, and Joni Mitchell, and, you know, like that whole scene when it was at the beginning. Nobody knew how big it would get, but they all knew their talent and their cohesiveness. They just understood each other, you know, like that whole scene. And that's what it felt like. Not that I was there.
It's felt like that when we play with other bands, like South by Southwest we were just at. And it was funny. It does feel like we're just doing something totally like nothing like what is expected of a band right now. But honestly, I'm not really that big a fan of like going to a concert hall and standing and watching a band. It's kind of like
knowing what to expect. Like,
I'd rather like have an experience, you know, of some sort. Give me something, you know. And I think that's it's nice. I think it's
that's what trendsetters do, though, right?
Yeah.
I think there's
you gotta be willing to swim against the stream.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing or where we're going, and I think that we attack music with a beginner's mind. Like we know what we're doing, you know, but like we don't go for. We're not trying to do anything else that already exists. We're just doing what feels good and what feels good together. And so there's this beginner's mind where we're like, okay, let's just see what happens without trying to do anything, without trying to mimic a sound or saying like, oh, well, let's make a song like that song. It's never ever been like that.
Also, I think it's very important that there's a purpose behind the music. It's not just the music that we're doing for fun because we like each other.
What's the purpose?
Well, we basically want to be better human beings and have a better world, and we want to be able to connect, to help people connect, to help people find, live mindfully, and kids, young people, all generations.
Music is
can do it.
universal language.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just,
We can do it in a way that everyone understands, and that makes our music stronger because there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, I think that's great too, but not to get lost in the talent that you guys have too, because I know so many people that are in this conscious way of living that with the greatest intentions and skills aren't really able to sustain what it is they want to do to help and do service of whatever they want to do. You have to be good.
Yeah.
There's a nice thing though that goes on with us because we're all came from being solo musicians of when the mutual respect is there, like I would go to the audience and watch any of these guys in concert. I did go in the audience and watch any of these guys in concert and enjoyed it. And so being on the stage together, there is this sort of like, I want to say antagonism, but not in a bad way. It's like this pushing each other's boundaries on stage in a really fruitful way. Not in a, but like you raise the bar and then. Cattle raise the bar even higher, then Mellow raise the bar even higher, and then when it's my turn again, I'm like, I gotta raise the bar again, and it's a nice feeling. It's like playing tennis with a good person makes you a better tennis player. And
right.
So, I feel like,
and I think going back to your question too, with what our intention is, this tour that we're on right now, The Lost Art of Listening, is a very different format than any tour I think that any of us have ever been on. And the big thing is that everywhere we're going, we're doing social outreach, and we're trying to link communities with organizations in their area that are doing good work for the environment and for their communities. And so when people go to these shows, they're also being linked with nonprofits and NGOs in their towns that are doing work to protect the environment and to bridge communities. And so one of our intentions behind this tour was to kind of bridge those worlds and to help give organizations who are doing good work a platform in their communities for people to become involved. And so this tour, we're not charging money for tickets.
I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to wrap my head around that concept. How do you do that?
Well, we have
sponsors.
we have some really epic sponsors.
Sponsored
The
by.
answer's always a simple one. Yes.
Yeah, so we feel very, very blessed. I think this is an incredible opportunity for us to show other artists what's possible for touring. And it doesn't just have to be about doing big shows and selling tickets. We're intentionally curating smaller events so that we can be intimate with our audience and really help to make those profound connections and for them to be able to connect with us on a really personal level so that we can share our resources together. And we've already made so many connections and collaborating with people on this tour, and we're only just a few weeks into it. And so I believe by the end of it, we'll have bridged so many worlds together. And I think it's incredible that this type of platform for touring can exist where these other companies who have unlimited resources can really invest into projects like ours, where it's bridging the world of art and music and social and environmental activism. And I think that that's what's new about what we're doing in our tour.
It's so cool. I mean, and it's so cool to hear that from you guys. It's refreshing to hear. I often think like this time now, like 18 and 19 is like similar to like the Summer of Love and Woodstock. Yeah, there's something like that, a lot of similarities between it. But to be able to sustain the business, does that ever become a conflict?
yeah.
Should I say it's never not a conflict? I mean, to hold true to values that are so great. I mean, it's wonderful.
I don't think like conflicts necessarily. I think that we're learning, like we're all trying to figure this out together, right? This isn't a brand new thing that we're trying to develop. And so of course along the way, like with starting any business or new program, we're all figuring out what is the best way to flow together.
Here's the thing. As far as my understanding of the format that we're exploring, with this tour specifically, with the Lost Art of Listening, I don't think that this has been done in this way. The blending of mindfulness with album listening, with the behind the music, with the live concert, kind of just in this specific format. And as I'm doing fundraising for the project, and it's not conflict. It's definitely been. I Actually, it's not. The first 6 people that I called invested. Literally all of them. It's definitely been a journey to keep the integrity. Without that's where I think some conflict can arise.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened to us yet.
Right.
But where a Coca-Cola, might be like, yeah, here's $100,000 to do your thing, and we want to be the top line sponsor, and then we'd be like, but Coca-Cola, you suck,
Yeah.
But here's $100,000, and that you don't have to worry about,
Yeah.
doing a small
Right.
project.
Right.
That's where it hasn't happened yet.
It could happen.
It could happen.
To us along the way.
Yeah,
Luckily,
yeah.
all of the sponsorships, people that we've been reaching out to are companies that are very much in alignment with what our mission and values are. So
Right.
we haven't come up across that conflict
Right.
because the people that we're reaching out to are already in alignment.
But we have definitely been like, so what do I get?
Yeah.
We're like, you get
Yeah.
awesome art.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and they're like, okay.
Well,
Don't they get to put their name on
Exactly.
what you guys are
Yeah,
doing?
they
That's a
do.
big
They
deal.
get to be a part of a movement.
Yeah,
They
it's
get
a
to be
big
a part
deal.
of creating a
You
new
get to be a
platform.
part of the movement.
Listen, you know what? You guys are original. I can say that. I listen to music longer than most of you are alive, probably, right?
Yeah.
And when you hear something that's different, I mean, really different, you guys have a different sound, and it's great.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's refreshing to hear.
Yeah, so they get to be a part of the art, but then they also get to be
Yes.
a part of the message. And we are developing a new platform for touring for artists, and so this has never been done quite like this before. And they get to be a part of that, and get to sponsor and back up a lot of really important work with children and with communities.
I mean, that's my pitch. When I'm seriously, my pitch is I'm saying,
He's
look.
the business guy.
No, here's the deal. It's like, I'm like, look. People are like, oh, I'm an impact investor and I want to create change in the world. I'm like, you know what? What is one of the most powerful ways, in my opinion, the most powerful way to connect universally with humans? It's art and music.
Yeah.
It's been at the forefront of shifting the cultural narrative since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
The first things that humans did when we stopped running from like saber-toothed tigers is we gathered around fires, we listened and played music, we danced, and we ate food. And that's what we've been doing since time immemorial. And it's one of those things that's always been at the forefront of like the big shift in any major cultural shift. The troubadours are the musicians and the artists. And so I really believe that's kind of the angle. It's like, it's not a pitch. It's like we don't even try to sell. It's just we're just telling you what the facts are. Like here's something that you can get behind that's real, that can really touch people like in a really deep way.
Yeah. And the music business has changed so much too.
Oh, yeah.
So that for you guys to have figured out your own way of navigating through
Still
this.
figuring out.
Yeah. Well, giving you too much credit.
It's coming,
Yeah.
it's been really beautiful. We have a lot of people who have been supporting it and that get the message behind it. And it really, there is a big difference when you stand for something.
Yep.
It's like, that seems to be one of the biggest challenges with humanity. It's like, well, what do we stand for?
You talked about like 1969, and I feel like right now, there was a lot of social things going on there and some drug things, but now there's these big, to me, like the two big shifts is like the Earth's obviously in some trouble, right? And as we're really
We're going deep. All
well,
right.
you have like this Earth that's obviously
serious.
catching a cold, and also the invention of the internet and our technology like going so quickly and where the point of access to all the information that humans have ever had is in most people's pockets, and in 10 years it'll be in everybody's pockets. At the same time that the Earth, you could definitely see some changes like in real time. And these are like big tectonic plates of just humankind. I think it's going to be known as one of the big, important times in humanity. And I think that like things, music changing and the way we gather changing and going forward with a purpose, I think that we're very much a product of what's going on in the world, and this being a band that's not like bands that were before, it's just like not a time that was ever before, you know? And what does that mean? And it is a time that we can go around the world and have these intimate events. We have the internet. There's all these tools at our disposal, and people are kind of waking up in all of these pockets of the world. And it's just, I think we're a product of what can be done right now, and what needs to be done right now. And I think that we're just, not that we even planned it. I just think like coming from everywhere that we've come from, we're just what has calcified.
Yeah, and I think at the same time we're also like going back to the basics in terms of gathering around the fire, listening, and playing music. That's why we call it the lost art of listening, because now we have so much access to everything on Spotify. We just skip from song to song. We have the scroll, like the Instagram stories, which is just 15 seconds. So we're getting used to just listening to music for 15 seconds. So our idea to go back to rediscover this art of listening is a new thing, even though it's a thing that's been there forever. When you before bought like a Pink Floyd album or whatever, like a vinyl, and you would just listen to the whole thing sitting on the sofa, watching the artwork, reading the lyrics. So it's a little bit going back to that, using the tools that we have today with the internet and social media, but still getting directly into people's heart, and also like it's like inviting people to our living room.
You know what I like about what you guys do? Like that guy shared last night about the dark side of the moon thing, right? And I was like, yeah.
I was inspired by what he said.
How cool was that? I mean, what a compliment that was for you guys, right?
Yeah.
But what a romantic thing it was to get an album, like, you bring it home and you like, you put it on.
You didn't have the single preview.
You pour your ounce of weed on it, you get the seeds out. You listen to the record.
But there's no seeds.
Now
that's the main.
We're going back a while. Paraquat. Does that mean anything? No, but there was maybe was that just a romantic time? Like that's what you knew. That was what was there. It's all that was there. And then cassettes came along, and then the vinyl was, and then here we are. So what the kids are coming up with now is a different experience, but they don't know what that was. It's like my parents telling me, they didn't have a TV. Okay.
It's hard to.
It's
hard to go back to that time because the reality is we do have all this technology now. So that's why it's kind of edgy for people,
Yes.
Like when people come in. Good point. So people come in, and the first thing we do is we're like, all right, we're going to have you do the edgiest thing you've done all day. Don't put it on silent. Turn off your phone. And some people, like on the way in, they wouldn't do it. On the way at the event last night, there were certain people that came in, they're like, well, I'll just turn it on silent. And the person at the front's like, turn it off. Why is that such a problem?
Yeah.
Just turn off your phone.
Yeah.
So, and just that idea that, hey, we're going to listen to this album, but we're not just going to listen to it just the way that we would, conventionally just bop through, do a bunch of other stuff, maybe have a drink, da-da-da-da. We're going to actively listen to it. The analogy is with breathing.
Yeah.
We're breathing all day, but you can also control your breath.
Right.
And there's a difference, when one is controlling the breath, it's like, oh wow, I'm actually just really breathing from the bottom of my stomach, or I'm breathing from my diaphragm, or I'm breathing in my chest, opposed to saying, oh wow, I actually had some shortness of breath, or someone says something angry, you get angry, and all of a sudden you realize you're not breathing. So our attention and our awareness is the same thing. So if we can focus our attention, focus our awareness through listening to music, kind of our idea is that we can use those same principles to listen to anything.
And it's simple. The concept is really simple, right?
Simple, but not easy.
But you bring the electronic music to the group, right?
Yeah.
From that background, right? And yet then you all plays, I've seen you bring some instruments I never even knew existed, right? But you all are so talented in what you do, and vocally, the harmonies. I mean, you're bringing it down to the, as simple as things can be, but it's beautiful. I mean, blending all of that is really impressive.
That's why we call it future folk.
Yeah, I think we really are at this intersection. It's been brought up so many times, this intersection of technology and also humanity, and getting back to the roots of where we were previous to where technology has gone. And I think that our music is really fusion of all of those things coming together. It's like, yeah, we blend the electronic elements in our music, but
Yeah.
we're also using, like, at our core, our voices, which is
Right.
the very first human
Right.
instrument that
Right.
we had was our voices. And so, and we're all, singers. And so it's incredible that we were able to come together and fuse those worlds and also bring in instrumentation from all around the world. And
Right.
Mel plays so many different instruments, as a percussion player. And I played, sitar and gamelan music in college. And David has worked with like hundreds of multi-instrumentalists from around the world.
He brought a piece of fruit up here last time.
There you go.
Turned into an instrument. So
Yeah.
what was it?
Oh, yeah.
It's Kamala Ngoni. It's from West
and what-
Africa.
What was it made out of?
It's made out of a gourd.
Yeah. Oh, like vegetable. Am I wrong? Did I go fruit?
Yeah.
Did I go fruit when I should have went vegetable?
What am I looking? Really exciting time technologically.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about what we just did before we came in here. Just recording music outside on a rooftop on a ledge. It makes me think of, Pink Floyd they were so innovative. But remember Live in Pompeii?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. They had to run a 2.5 mile extension cord. It was like this thick. Like, what the hell is that? Just to try to play a concert. Whereas we bring out a gimbal that you can now hold in one hand, just like walking around, some wireless microphones, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
The access point to being creative is lower than ever. And there's some good and bad things for that. Like, one of the points of contention for Lost Art of Listening was, remember that woman Petra, who was she was the one. She's like, "There's no good music anymore."
Yeah.
She's so
We love you,
great.
Petra.
We love you, Petra. And 70,000 songs are uploaded to Spotify per week. The access point to being creative is lower than ever, which is amazing. I'm a big fan. So you're getting this incredibly diverse spectrum of people saying, like, you know what? I want to blend Sufi Qawwali music with hippie songs, or like I want to blend punk rock with opera, or like whatever. You can basically do whatever, because where it used to cost $50,000 to try to produce a record.
True. Right.
You either had to have money or you had to have someone who really believed in you. Now you need an iPhone. It's ridiculous.
The process of creation of this album also was a little bit like transatlantic, right? Like trans-world, because some things would happen here in the US and I was in Barcelona.
Right.
Then I would get some ideas from, the core of song, and then I would just record a little bit of vibraphone, put some backing vocals or piano or percussion or whatever, and send it back within a split second, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then
Send the file to outer space, bounce off the
It's
satellite.
everything in real time.
Double over here, and then
It
it's studio,
It
and then
really is. It
it's
is.
there's a lot of songs that were done like that, and it's amazing because we didn't even have to be in the same physical space to create this music. We could be at home, anywhere in the world, and still be creative and collaborative.
Right. So let's talk about this album then. How did this come to be? How did these songs get written? What means the most to you on this album? Is there one song that sticks out with any of you guys that you think I'm most proud of? Or?
I really feel like I love all the songs so much, and they all mean something so radically different. And it's like, I can't choose my favorite song.
Women
or
are
my
so
favorite artist.
freaking vague all the time.
I didn't like that comment.
Yes.
I didn't like that. But I agree with her. It's difficult to have a favorite
It's
song
really
because
difficult.
all the songs are meaningful, and we're all songwriters, and we all like dig deep into songwriting and what's the core of the meaning of the songs. So every song chosen for the album are the most meaningful songs. So it's difficult to really choose.
There's a lot more written.
We have like
Let
hundreds
me
of songs.
ask something. When all four of you, the depth is so profound. How do you all jive on an idea?
To be truthful, it's a new band, and we've been calling it's like a super group, right? Because each one has their own individual solo artist.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the idea when we're like, okay, we're going to put a lot of our individual projects on the back burner a little bit to give this 100%. But this record in particular, I would probably be the common thread. So Mel and I would write a song, Danny and I would write a song, Kat and I would write a song. Then we'd be like, okay, well, we need a harmony from this, from Mel. It kind of worked a little bit more like that, opposed to what we're working on now for what is going to be this follow-up record. It's really the first time we're all writing together.
So is it like humility, that everybody has to bring the humility into the equation in order to keep the integrity of the music?
Definitely lots of humility and like mindful communication. I mean, just like any relationship, it takes a lot of communicating through the things that, because we have disagreements. There are times where we record something on a song and somebody will be in love with it and another person will be like, absolutely not. And we have to negotiate our way through that.
All of us are very perfectionists, and we want to get out the best we can. So whenever something is below the best, we argue about it and we bring it up. So it's great because that way we not only bring in our individual creativities, but we also getting better at our own creativity by collaborating with each other.
Right.
Which is what collaboration brings anyway. What David says all the time, it's to be able to achieve something that's bigger than yourself.
Right. But like those bands from 68 and 69, there's a lot of stories out there about why they're not, all the stuff that happens when you put that much talent in one space, and it's so where you guys are at, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's taking a lot of work,
Yeah.
humility and
Gotta keep our egos in check for sure.
Yeah.
and I would say we're exploring the edges of how we can be our strong alpha self and also be a team, and that's an edge, I think, for us right now.
I feel like we're all pretty dedicated to like growth and like bettering ourselves, and all individually acknowledge like the necessity of continuing to learn from one another and to grow as human beings. And because of our commitment to that, it makes us capable of being able to communicate through all of these challenges, because we recognize that even though we might have strong feelings or perspectives about something, doesn't make us right about it.
Right.
Also, there's a bottom line that we love each other.
Right.
We admire each other, we love each other. So, but it helps because like when we have an argument, the bottom line, like the bed in which the argument rests, it's love.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to to take each other's eyes, because we want the other person to be okay and
Right.
So it's a great way to sort of like navigate through conflict.
Is the song the most important thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'm a song person, you know what I'm saying? And
It's a great thing you pick music then.
But like, I honestly, I don't really think on musical terms so much. Like as a childhood preacher, I think on like mantra and like what is the melody? What can you say and repeat that if I say it and I repeat it over and over again, all of us will find it meaningful to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, ain't we the lucky ones after all? That means something different to you than it means to you, than it means to you, than it means to me, right?
But it means something to
But
everybody.
it means something, you mind it.
Yeah.
And I don't really think of it so much as like music as much as mantra. And so to me, I once that's done, personally, then I'm happy for it to go anywhere, like because that nugget can't get lost.
And do you feel at that point then your stamp is on it, and then you can let them do what they got to do?
Totally.
Right?
I don't really have a lot of opinion about. I mean, I do. I want good music. I can tell when something's good or bad. But I think like once that kernel of truth, that little like pearl that we can all relate to is there, it doesn't have to be much. 3 notes. It can be 1 word. You know what I'm saying? Like all the good stuff is, right? And so it's like once that's there, you can't really take it away anymore. You know what I'm saying? Once that's set in the stone, it won't go away. And so to me, that's kind of where I spend my time. Is like what is that thing that you can say? And a lot of it is like we talked about the time and like the zeitgeist. And I think you have to like, and you said like, you met conscious people. and it doesn't do it.
Not just, not a,
You're one of them. No, but I mean,
You're out
you
there,
say
man.
why doesn't it work sometimes? But you got to keep your ear to the ground a bit. Like listen to the zeitgeist. You know, like if you keep your ear just to people that are talking about the same things that you are, it
And there's
will
like this
resonate.
aspect of like, if you're trying to make music that's not like money, hoes, cars, stuff, things, and you want more content that feels maybe, let's say, more meaningful to what you might want your children to listen to or something like that. It's just really easy to make fluffy, crappy music. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know that it's like I don't really care. Everyone, I think music is beautiful for everyone. Anyone can create, and I hope all human beings express themselves creatively. But as you said, well, why is it that some people aren't, able to sustain themselves? And I think that there's this. I want the show me, don't tell me. When you hear a song and you're like, I don't really know what that was about, but I know how it made me feel. And then maybe you dig into the lyrics a little bit more and you're like, whoa, I see what that was saying. I didn't hear it initially. I feel like that's excellent songwriting. Sometimes it's not so transparent lyrically. And then you really dig into it and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's how that makes me feel. And I think the universe that we're kind of coming out of is this, people that enjoy yoga and people that enjoy meditation, or maybe they enjoy healthier eating. They're typically they're not your average kind of McDonald's eating America. There are people that like actually want to connect more with humanity, connect more with the wisdom of nature, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that world, the music can be a little bit fluffy. It's not bad. It's not like the people are, bad people are not talented. But, if you listen to it, it's, I call some of it like hippie hop, and it's just like consciousness and spiritual, and it's just like, can you make, I want to feel that. As the producer in the group, usually that's where I'm trying to steer things, whereas Danny's writing the songs, we're all writing them together, but I'm trying to steer things. It's like, hey, I want to feel. Like, don't tell me how to feel. I just want to feel.
So the things about your music that I caught is the groove. There's always a really smooth. Again, future folk. We'll go with future folk. Because it's kind of jazzy and yet not. Like Lyle Lovett is one guy. It's Lyle Lovett. It's not. It's jazz, but it's not. It's country, but it's not. Like I don't know. He's one of them. It's good, really good. But when the groove is what it is. It's really important to your music, as is the lyrics and the message. Is there a formula that you have to come up with? Does it have to have all these elements, or is each song its own entity?
Really wide spectrum of songs. Like if you listen to a song like Long Day,
They all mean something, though.
Yeah, they all have a story and an arc, and there's emotion in them, and that's really what we're going for. Is it's not we don't want to tell you what to feel. We just hope that you feel something. And music is so. It changes so much, right? There are songs, like we have one of our songs that I listened to. It was a really beautiful thing, right? It's called Long Day. I had an anxiety attack listening to it one time because it made me so emotional. I was just like, oh my God. And there's other songs that makes me feel really uplifted. And songs change. Like I think my favorite song of all time is Lovely Day, Bill Withers. What an amazing song, right? And I can listen to it. I would listen to it on my wedding day, and sometimes I listen to it and it makes me sad because it's it's.
Speaking of Laurel Canyon, he lives off Laurel Canyon, right? He's like been hanging in his house. He doesn't do music anymore. Like he just chills.
Starting again.
Is
Can I
he?
jam with you, Bill Withers?
Yeah, Bill
Oh my
Withers.
God.
Perfect for you,
Let
bro.
me ask you. That's a great question. Though, is there anybody that you guys said?
Bill Withers would be up there.
Besides
Yeah,
fucking
no.
Bill Withers? That's not fair.
Yeah, it's crazy. We would love to collaborate with so many artists.
There's so
And also,
many
like,
incredible
Okay,
artists.
who's your biggest
this
inspiration?
spectrum is great. It's just
Not biggest. Okay, just name
My
one that
biggest
really
inspiration.
profound, that really pushed you.
it depends because throughout the time I've had different inspirations.
Wait. I'm actually
And
a cool Mel fact here. I'm gonna give a cool Mel fact. Mel grew up in Cuba.
Yeah, I'm trying to get one name out of
Come on.
it. Yes, and then we're gonna go for
It's
20 more
good.
minutes.
It's
We're
good.
fucking hungry. Man.
Yeah, I grew up in Cuba, and while I was growing up, you wouldn't have the Beatles on the radio or Bob Marley on the radio.
Oh, right.
Or
Yeah,
something.
right.
So, like, I grew up listening mostly traditional Cuban music, classical music, some Mexican music because my mom loved it, and jazz. So I graduated from university when I was 22 or something, only a couple of years ago. And then I moved out. I went to work in Liechtenstein, Switzerland. I lived in Denmark for a year. I was touring with the jazz band around Europe, and then I landed in Barcelona, Spain, when I've been living for the last 15 years or so. And then I started to have access to world music in general.
Right.
So I started listening to like Bob Marley and the Beatles and Pink Floyd and just to name a few when I was an adult already. So that was a huge impact, but late in my life. So just to answer your question, I can name like 3 big influences in my music, and one is maybe Bob Marley because it really shaped my music writing in my young adulthood. Another one would be Herbie Hancock, the piano player, which I met in Cuba. And he really also like helped me shape my music. And one of the things that he said that really changed my life and changed my way to listen to music in the world in general is like he said like music notes by themselves have no meaning. And whether they study music is extremely important. The most important thing to study is how to live. It was, I think, the first time I heard in words that music is an expression of life. So that really changed my perspective of how music, like how my music should be. That would be number 2. And number 3, I would have to say, even though they're here, it's these 3 people because they brought to my life something completely new, fresh, and different. Something that I had access to before I met them. So that would be, I put it in one, but it's 3 of them.
Yeah, so you couldn't get one out of it, now we got 5.
Nice.
Danny, what about you?
You know, I Bob Marley would be on my list as well. Just his voice is amazing. I mean, like, as far as song goes, you don't get much better than Bob Marley. Johnny Cash was huge for me as a kid. I was a little kid when Rick Rubin did his American recording stuff. And my mom, I remember.
Wouldn't it be great to work with Rick Rubin?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. I remember my mom drove me to Branson, Missouri at like 10 years old to see Johnny Cash. Thank you, Mom. And he died like a month and a half, 2 months later or something like that. But I got to meet him. But there was just like this overall, I think Johnny Cash and Bob Marley, they talked about the spirit, but spirit by way of the common man. And like spirit by way of everybody. Not preaching, you know, but like the spirit that's in the construction worker and the cop and just the people, you know. But there's divinity in all of it, you know. And I think like I don't know if I could do anything with music is to carry on that tradition of showing the divine in the human experience, you know, and not in the great person's human experience, just the great person's human experience, and all people's human experience.
You lost me, man. You just said human experience like 7 times.
It's a lot, it's a lot.
Contexts. We're going deep, Scott.
No, those 2 in particular, like they stand out to me as like these
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's great. Kat, what about you?
I definitely have to echo pretty much all of the artists that they named, but also I think a huge influence for me as far as vocalists is Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. My dad was an Elvis impersonator growing up, and so I listened to a lot of Elvis and Frank Sinatra. And also super inspired
Just
by...
squeeze this in here now, right? Damn. End of the interview.
Yeah, I'm super inspired by like old blues music, and I love like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, and jazz. Like Bill Evans is a huge inspiration to me, and Scott Joplin, old ragtime music, and so I feel like my dad was born in the 1940s, and he listened to a lot of music from the 1940s to the 1970s, and he's been a huge influence for me throughout my life. He's an incredible vocalist, and really he gave me my first voice lessons. And so my dad has probably been like one of my greatest inspirations musically. But yeah, I mean, there's countless artists out there that have helped shape me, and even modern artists nowadays. Like I love Hiatus Coyote. I think that they're like Anderson .Paak. I mean, there's just some modern artists that I feel like I have such a profound respect for, and their music is just like moves me in a way.
Yeah.
And so I have tremendous respect for all genres of music, but definitely as far as vocalists go, I think Sarah Vaughan for me has been like one of the top inspirations.
You can't go wrong there, man. Wow. That's a good call. What about you, David?
Yeah,
I know you're going to come out with something I never heard of before.
I'm
ready to get slide right now.
So I grew up going to musical theater. That's thanks to my mother and father. My father got a master's in theater, and my mom sang to me to help fall asleep until it was really almost pretty inappropriate. I was probably like 13, and she's like, "Can I come sing you a song?"
22, Mom. One more number.
Mom, give me a break.
Mammy.
So I just always had that, and I just always have loved theater. And then I discovered, psychedelics and dancing and electronic music.
From show tunes to psychedelics, the David Block story.
And and then I really discovered early stuff like for me was Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim, Daft Punk. That was my introduction to dancing. There weren't a lot of kids in my school who were dancing, and I had one friend, and we would just like throw down and dance together. So there was that, and then of course like the music. I used to want to be like Ben Harper and Jack Johnson, just like singer-songwriter, stuff like that. And my classic stuff's more like Pink Floyd and Zeppelin and Stevie Ray Vaughan and a lot. I just always loved blues music and B.B. King and just like some of the masters of that. And then the new stuff, like I got turned on to hip hop and listened to a lot of underground hip hop. I grew up in Southern California, so the two big ones for me from Southern California, which really I think shaped my sound, were Sublime and Incubus. They were like two of the first groups that I ever heard blending a DJ in with regular music. It wasn't electronic music. It wasn't a DJ. It was a DJ with live music. And that was the first time I was like, whoa, you can do that? I didn't know you could do that. So those two were really formative. And my favorite band these days is a band called Fat Freddy's Drop. They're from New Zealand. I think that they do it better than anyone for me. They're less song-oriented. Danny doesn't love them as much as I do. For example, Mel and I are obsessed. And Danny's like, they jam so much. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They jam, and like, so discovering that. I mean, I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know that there were jam bands or groups that just jammed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a band without a drum set or a bass player. They have a guy doing backing tracks.
Which is kind of what I
And
do.
they have like horns and guitar and singers.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's unheard of. It's really good, and you dance and it's such a beautiful music. It's really beautiful. And they have like 8-minute songs, 9-minute songs.
Yeah.
And 20-minute live songs, and it's amazing. But anyway, so there's a lot, and I think we each draw on. There are these chapters of each one of our musical and creative journey, and each one of those chapters is informed by several key influences. For example, I mean, there was a moment in my life where I was living in India, and it was my 22nd birthday, and I was in the base of the Himalayas, and this guy came up to me, and he's like, yeah, David, I have the new Blue Tech album. Yeah, I think you will like it.
Are you sure you're not Munich?
He was a German guy, yeah. He said, oh, yeah, this is cool, super cool. I think that you will like this.
It's time for the Himalayas.
Yeah, and the basis of
Back to
Himalayas.
civilization.
Yeah, you would like. And he put it on, and it was the first time I had heard down-tempo electronic music, and I was like, wow, this is kind of what I'm doing, but I didn't even know that existed. So it's like I think that we've all had a little bit of that, where there's the beginner's mind, the discovery process. And it's like I love that Tom Waits quote says, like, what makes your music good? He's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, we're kind of like that. Like, yeah, we have an idea of what we're doing, but we also have no fucking idea what we're doing.
It's like being in the flow state.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in a flow state, you don't know what you're doing. You're just
Yeah, but you know you're doing something good.
right.
We're not lost, but we don't know where we're going.
If it feels good,
That's good.
it's usually good.
It seems like one reason I think that people are responding to the band is like, I think that we're celebrating like the good things in life, Like, I mean, I think that like last night, like people are massaging each other, and covering and dancing, and it's like, who's in like all of those things? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like aggressive or some of these things that are like in life, and it's like, and you ask like why the groove like this? It's like, I think because we all like that groove, It's nice to like dance, but like it's just it's the vibes, and
It's all that vibe.
yeah, and I think like and I think that we're honest about what we like, and I think other people like the same things, It's just,
Your authenticity comes, right through. I mean, that's clear. I felt like when I walked in there, like everybody was flowing, right? I just feel like they must think I'm a cop.
I thought you were kind of
Are you not?
Yeah, so it was just like a weird, but I saw everybody in a really comfortable groove. That's a credit to you guys, because you put everybody in the moment. As much as they wanted to be there, you're not going there unless somebody puts you there. Like, that's what an artist does, right?
It's like it's a two-way street, right? The audience has to be willing to go there, and the artist has to be willing to meet them there. And I think that sometimes I'll play a show where I'm feeling kind of shitty, and the show's not that great. And then there's some times where, like, actually yesterday, for example, I was feeling really shitty before the event. It was really rough.
It was challenging.
It was a very challenging day yesterday. Technically, logistically, emotionally, it was just kind of it was just kind of a shitty day, honestly. And then, right when it started, it's slowly. I actually think everyone else helped bring us there, and then we were like, all right, let's do this. And by the end of it, it was like one of my favorite shows and musical sharing experiences in my life.
Really?
Yeah, really. I mean, I think the atmosphere, the people, the venue, all the ingredients, and I was pretty shocked because I was like, this is going to be a fucking nightmare.
He's an optimist.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty optimistic.
Yes.
I'm realistic, I was like, this is going to be a fucking nightmare, and it was just so incredibly fulfilling. Just to do it in this way, and to do it in these small groups. It's just.
Yeah, the whole concept is just right. It seems like everything about what you guys do is right. It just seems authentic, real, genuine, and right.
Thanks.
Thank you. You want to hear a song? We're writing songs together now, and we're doing a part of our show which is just acoustic. So we're like really enjoying this possibility to just do acoustic.
Yeah.
Live music.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
What are we gonna do? Play once.
Lucky ones?
try to imagine what our life might be like if we had never let go into our little fairy tale. Would we be standing quite as tall? Ain't we the lucky ones after all? Ain't we the lucky ones after all? To have someone there to catch you when you fall. To have someone, anyone at all. And so often I get nervous you're gone. You stayed back while I went out on my own to give me some justice in my life. Give me the hardest punch you've got. If you're the last thing that I saw. Ain't we the lucky ones after all? Ain't we the lucky ones after all? To have someone there to catch you when you fall. To have someone, anyone at all. To give me some justice in my life. Give me the hardest punch you've got. If you're the last thing that I saw. But ain't we the lucky ones after all? Ain't we the lucky ones after all? To have someone there to catch you when you fall. To have someone, anyone. To have someone, anyone. To have someone, anyone at all.
Wow. Wow. Listen, this was so great. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. How does anybody out there want to follow you, find out where you're going from here and where they might be able to,
Yeah,
find you guys
there's
and see you guys and get your
anywhere that
music?
music is available: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp. All of our music is available by donation. So if you do want it for free, you can have it for free. But we also
If you want to pay us $100 a song,
if you want to pay $100 a song, you can do that. $500 a song, $1,000 a song. Why limit yourself? Don't limit
Yeah,
yourself.
we're also all over social media.
So any
Gone Beyond.
Instagram is Gone Gone Beyond. Our website's gonegonebeyond.com. The lost art of listening shows have been private and kind of creating these more salon culture. So if you're interested, just reach out to us and see if we can get you at one of them. And then there are many shows all over the world coming soon.
Well, again, I can't thank you guys enough for being so generous with your time.
thank you so much.
It's gone beyond.
Woo!